With a keen eye and a bit of patience, you can find some amazing things at a thrift store. In this video, I'm going to show you how I converted this kids game into a grim dark 40k power generator. Let's raise those reactors and couple those capacitors. For the roll. I previously completed a kid's toy conversion to build terrain that told a narrative story by following one of the Crusade missions inside the Leviathan core rulebook. If you haven't seen it already, check it out after this one, as these builds work really well together. I'll have it linked at the end of this video and in the description below. I thought we could do the same, but this time create our own scenario. More about that at the end of the video. The inspiration for this build happened when I came across this kids game at a local charity shop, or a thrift store for my American cousins. It looked like it could be really useful, and for £2 I couldn't pass it up. After looking through all the pieces, I thought that overall the shape of it was really great, and with some tweaks here and there, this could be an amazing terrain set for a narrative 40k game that represented a power station or a conduit. The first thing I wanted to focus on was what would be my main power core. The centre section, where Chewie flies around, would be perfect for this. After taking it apart, I wanted to create space in the middle for some lights to sit, so I used a Dremel to carve out the gaps in the plastic. A hobby saw could also do the trick really well. To light up the core, I picked up this specific pack of string lights for two reasons. The first of which is that the lights themselves are really small and take up very little space. But the second and most important part is that the battery housing is really thin too, and also contains 2 watch batteries each. These are amazing for hiding battery packs inside terrain or dioramas. I'll leave a link in the description below should you wish to pick up some for yourself. I then moved on to removing the Star Wars iconography from these pieces, again using the Dremel with the sanding tool, just for the speed and convenience. I wanted to close the gap between the two pieces that would be my power core, and so taking some thin cardstock, I cut out a thin length and cut out a small gap in the middle, so that it would be able to be bent over the plastic pieces whilst also still letting some light through. To create a diffused look for the light, I cut up some of the plastic bag that the pieces actually came in and stuck this to the cardstock. It was then just a case of using the hot glue gun to attach all the pieces together. The string lights work really well as a quick and easy way to get some light inside your terrain or dioramas, and don't require any electrical tools or knowledge to use. However, if you are comfortable with wiring and have the right tools and knowledge, nothing stops you using the battery packs from these string lights and rigging your own. Now, I've said it before on this channel and I'll say it again, I'm certainly not an expert when it comes to electronics and wiring. I know enough to get me by safely, but please don't just copy what I'm doing on the screen. There are plenty of videos out there showing you how to correctly and safely wire up lighting for terrain and scenery. I encourage you to watch them first if you're interested in doing something like this, as I'm standing on the shoulders of those greater than me, so learn from them. I also had these Tau Devilfish engines in my bits box and thought they would work really well attached to the sides of the power core. My plan was to also add some lights inside of these, so I carved out a section to allow the wires and more filament bulbs to be pushed through. I then just carved some more gaps in order to let that light shine through. If you're interested in doing things like this, then a pin vise is a really useful tool. I then spent the next hour or so soldering up all of the filament LEDs, wires and batteries together. I don't know about other countries, but filament LEDs like these are not easy to get hold of locally, and so if you're struggling to source them, I got mine from AliExpress by searching filament LEDs. Be mindful that some of them are rigid and some of them are flexible, so get the right ones for your project. Next, I looked at the connectors between my terminals and my power core. I liked the look of these pieces as they were, but it was just missing something little. So once again, I used the pin vise, drilled in some holes in order to feed in some wiring offcuts that I had, and locked these in with some hot glue. The wires don't serve any practical purpose, but just lend something else to the aesthetic. After this, I wanted the focus to be on my terminals. I had these cannons in my bits box from my previous conversion build, these came in the same kit, and I thought that it would be a really good addition to the piece considering the narrative that I had in mind for it. Following this, I broke out the string lights once more as I wanted the terminals to be a key feature of the mission. I wired up 3 more LED filament bulbs to the battery pack, and then carved out sections using the Dremel in the bases of those terminals. To let more light through, I just carved out some windows on the top. I then used some old blister pack plastic to cut out a section to then cover the window that I just carved. I then took some off-cut Treadplate plasticard that I had from the previous conversion project, and then cut this up to cover the top layer, hiding the mess that I'd made, cutting out the window, as well as then covering up the rough texture from removing the Star Wars logos earlier. After this, I then covered up the windows on the terminals and the central light in the power core with some modeller's masking tape ready for the painting step. Whilst I paint, I wanted to take the chance to thank each and every one of you that supported this channel, either through watching these videos, subscribing to the channel, or being part of the very special group of rollers that are part of the Patreon, such as the channel producer, Danny H. You all give me the chance to keep making these videos, and it's a privilege to do so. If you're considering supporting the channel by becoming a Patreon member, you'll get access to a bunch of goodies such as monthly STL files for faction-inspired combat gauges and dice dispensers, as well as monthly prize draws and access to the private Discord server where you'll find me and the amazing community that we've built, the link for which is in the description below. You can also support the channel by using the affiliate links in this video. I can only assume that you either like playing the game of 40k, enjoy building and painting the minis, or both if you're watching this video. If you've got plans to buy any minis soon and want a cracking discount of up to 20% off RRP, then use the affiliate link below for Wayland Games. You'll not only be helping out the channel at no extra cost to yourselves, you'll actually be saving money on top of that. That's a win-win in my book. After I finished the painting, I just wanted to add some final touches to the terminals by adding some decals from a transfer sheet just to give the windows a bit more of an interactive feel. I guess the last thing to do is just to show you how it looks on the tabletop.
Brothers, above Bellatrix Prime, the void burns with war, but our objective lies below. Power Station Sigma 9, buried beneath the Manufactorum ruins, it feeds the orbital defense grid. We must secure the station's power core and stabilize the terminals to reactivate the grid, but be warned, the core grows unstable. You know your duty. Fight with precision, hold with honor. The fate of this war turns with us. For the Emperor.
And that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and tell me about any other projects that you've managed to convert into terrain as well. Also, take a look at the previous conversion that I mentioned earlier on. The kits work really well together. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.